Minnesota backed the Brinks truck up for a player to get them to flip from Auburn. And West Virginia backed it up even more, baby.
You are Locked On West Virginia, your daily podcast on the West Virginia Mountaineers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And what is up? Welcome in, guys. My name is Mountaineer Paul. I am your host. Welcome to Locked On West Virginia, guys, as we break down the women's basketball team today, and deservingly so, as they have had one heck of a run in the transfer portal. Congrats to Coach Kellogg and crew, as they've done one hell of a job. We're also going to be breaking down three more guys to watch in the basketball portal that I've heard West Virginia's in contact with. Probably some names you've heard, some that one or two you maybe that you haven't, and I've gotten their games broken down comprehensively like I do. I've spent several hours on this today, so let's jump into it right away, guys. The West Virginia women's roster is stacked, is how I have this labeled. They have a mix of depth pieces and starters on a squad that needed an infusion of that with the loss of J.J. Quinterly, with the losses of other people on that roster, even though they have a Harrison returning, even though they have other really good players returning on that. You lose Nagabata, who could have been the future, right? Like people I was really fond of are gone. So that Coach Kellogg has one heck of a job on his hands here. Luckily, the women's team might have more money than the men's team. I'm not kidding. They got a huge gift a couple years ago. I believe it was $10 million. Somebody can correct me. I see that's the number I remember. I'll have to go back in time and look at that again sometime. But I know they got several $1 million to the women's program. And it's just for the women's program. And that was like 3 years ago now, I think. So that's how they're able to do what they did today. And I guess the headliner of this group is super impressive. If you want to say, I mean, there's a couple that could be considered headliners, I guess. But in my opinion, this is by far the headliner of this group. This is the equivalent of probably around the same level as when we landed like a Raekwon Battle, from a lower spot that we knew was going to be really good. This is similar to that, in my opinion. So Kiera Wheeler, who played, her basketball in Minnesota, she was a unranked prospect. She was a top state prospect, but unranked nationally. So she committed to Norfolk State. She didn't have any offers. She had St. Thomas, she had Hampton, and she's a late bloomer, to say the very least. She stands anywhere between, and you know how these numbers are kind of fudged sometimes, 6'2" or 6'3" which is really big in women's college basketball. She's a versatile scorer. I did a bunch of tape study on her. Really hard to find tape on her, just let you know. But I found some. She can score with either hand over either shoulder. She's got a bevy of post moves, and that's why she averaged 16 points a game, guys. And she played extremely well versus Power 4 competition. As a matter of fact, she eviscerated Power 4 competition at times. She's an elite rebounder at 9 rebounds a game, an elite defender. She led the MEAC with 2.5 blocks a game. She had 2 steals per game. She can guard 3 through the 5, and she can switch on all those in Coach Kellogg's scheme. She's not a great passer, but man, is she smart with the ball in her hands, transitioning from high to low actions, and they do a lot of that high-low stuff in the Kellogg offense. She has minimal 3-point attempts that I could see, and she can get foul prone, especially against really physical bigs. So that's going to be something we'll have to watch with Kiera as she moves along in the Big 12 Conference. But at the end of the day, I've got her as a do-it-all forward who's going to be a defensive anchor and a secondary scorer, probably to Jordan. And so her flipping – look, this is such a fun story to cover because I was able to get a hold of one of the Alabama guys. He was going to come on today, and unfortunately I just couldn't get him to do it because of the company I work for is a competitor of the company he works for. So he couldn't come on. But Minnesota backed the Brinks truck up to get her to flip, right? So her coach from Norfolk State goes to Auburn. She follows her coach. Minnesota says, hold on a second. You want to come home? Here's a bunch of money. West Virginia said, oh, she's flipping? We want in on that action. And so they won up to Minnesota and I'm told approaching six figures for this deal, which is a big offer for a lower level kid like this. So congratulations to Kira, who got a really nice investment in her future and also gets to come and play for a coach that can really coach, Mark Kellogg. I'm convinced. I think Mark Kellogg could coach men's basketball. I really love him as a coach, and he has coached men's basketball before. So, like I said, she's a big low post scoring girl. She played in 32 games last year, averaged 15, basically 16 a game. It was 15.8 points per game. I like to round up. Rebounds per game was at 9, steals were at 2, blocks was at 2.5, 50% field goal percentage, close to. Only 20% from 3, but that's not going to be her game. She shoots it at 70% from the free throw line. So, for what you're asking her to do, there's virtually no holes in her game outside of the move up, right? But if you go watch her tape, you'll see right away she's skilled enough. She's going to be fine. She was a woman amongst girls in that league. So she was first team all MEAC, first team all defensive team. She dropped 28 points in the tournament semifinal. She was third in scoring, second rebounding. Like, she literally was the best player in the conference. So I think she's a Big 12 ready stat stuffer who's going to bring toughness and versatility. She'll lock down opponents and clean the glass. So she's going to ease the loss of Kaya Watson's defensive presence, in my opinion. And those starts, the 34 starts, really mean something, man. I think it's going to make her a leader for a really young West Virginia core. So, I really liked her ad. So, and then she's not the only good one. There's a good mixture of what I think to be seniors, juniors, freshmen, some younger players in here. And this next player here is another one that I really like, Riley Makalewski. And I heard him say her name a couple different times. I watched a couple interviews with Riley Mikulski, I think is how she says it, or Makalewski. I can't remember now. She was a Butler, and she was a 3-star recruit, number 63 wing in the 23 class. She was an Indiana All-State honorable mention, where she averaged 15 and 5 as a senior, known for her clutch shooting with the Indy Heat, which is an AAU school. And she had Butler, she had Purdue, she had Indiana State, and some mid-majors. So she was a teal chip recruit, like you see West Virginia go after sometimes. She's an elite 3-point shooter, 46.8% as a freshman, guys. That's absolutely scorching hot from 3. So she's going to be able to benefit off of Jordan penetrating into the lane, obviously. She can score off the catch and shoot, or pull-ups. She has a really good mid-range game. She's comfortable driving to the rim, and she's 6'2". She's as big as a lot of forwards are, which she's a guard-forward combo. So she's got the frame to finish over smaller opponents, and she can play the 2 or the 3 in this system as well. She's an average defender. I think she relies on her length to contest shots, so she does get her hands on some balls sometimes. She's got to improve her lateral quickness a little bit, in my opinion. She knows that. She was only a freshman. I think she's going to do that. She's a developing passer, in my opinion. From what I saw on tape, I thought she could do a little bit better job. But, as a freshman, you got to think things are moving fast for her. So I can't judge her like the others because this was her freshman year. So this is actually an excellent year, a 7 or 8 out of 10 year for a freshman, right? Because she scored 8 points a game as a freshman. You'll take that for almost any freshman that's not like a 5-star or something. So she's going to have to get a little more physical for Big 12 play. But, man, is she going to be a great depth piece that can turn into a starter? Her shooting is going to stretch defenses, and she's going to open driving lanes for the guards like Logan Johnson, who we'll talk about here in a second. She's 6'2", right around 165, 170. So she's got the frame to do it. She played in 30 games. She actually played around 22, 25 minutes a game, 8 points a game, around 1 assist a game. She had about 3.5 to 4 rebounds per game, which is good, not great. Right around a little under a steal a game, right around 3/4 of a steal a game. Not very many blocks. Her field goal percentage was right around 40%, which is really dang good considering she's a long-range shooter. 3-point percentage was at 42. Free throw percentage at 75. She led the Big East in 3-point percentage as a freshman, so she's got stroke. So she's a sniper, and I always put a little summary at the bottom. She's a sniper who's going to punish sagging defenses. Which is going to be critical for a West Virginia team that lacked consistent outside shooting last year. And if you look at West Virginia's stats, 32% as a team last year. So her height on the wing is going to let Kellogg play bigger lineups without sacrificing a lot of spacing. It's going to be really important to watch that, guys. And I think she's a breakout candidate if she can get some touches and get some strength and a little bit more quickness, which is all very doable for her. So keep an eye on Riley as she moves along. Carter McRae is another interesting one. Let me check the time. We're at 10 minutes. It's almost like a sixth sense for me now. So let's go to break, and we will talk a little bit more about this, and we'll get into the men as well. So stick around, guys. This is a fun episode of Locked On West Virginia. And this episode of Locked On West Virginia going to be brought to you by Monarch Money, guys. That's right, Monarch Money. Have you ever checked your bank account and wondered, where did all my money go? Between dining out, shopping online, and entertainment, it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in. It's your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. It's not just a budgeting app. Monarch Money is a complete financial command center where you can track accounts, investments, and spending in one place. You just stop managing your money and start building your wealth. All-in-one convenience of Monarch Money is pretty cool, guys. That you can, instead of juggling multiple apps, you got your Chase Bank app, you got your Cash app, you got your all these different apps. You can use Monarch to check your finances, track spending, and even plan long-term goals, all from one spot. Take control of your finances today with Monarch Money and use code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE for half off your very first year. Do it now. Do it today. It's segment 2. Let's crack a do. Cracking a do in segment 2, guys, as we continue to go over these portal 4 girls that I'm going to list today that Coach Kellogg and crew have, put together. And it's so funny as I was watching tape, I'm like, obviously he knows better than I do. I'm like, yep, that's a Kellogg player. Yep, that's a Kellogg player. Yep, that's a Kellogg player. You can just tell it's these really pesky. They can score. Actually, it's a very similar concept to what Coach Hodge is doing, right? With Fields from Troy, right? He's like, 7-8 points a game. So he's not like, it's not like he can't score. He shoots it like, 32% from three. So he can shoot it. Is it what he does the best? No, he's a great defender. Same thing with some of these girls. It's like they can score, like they can contribute. They can get hot one night. Just like Fields, he had 20 in a game last year. He had 5 threes in a game last year. So these girls can get hot in a game. And so they bring some scoring, allowing you to, still play great defense and have some scoring on the floor instead of going all Buck Harris, which is like all in on defense and you're not getting any scoring. So that's kind of where he's at with this. So let's continue on here with this breakdown because Carter McRae, man, when I went and turned on the tape from Carter McRae, I was like, gosh, man, this might be the most Mark Kellogg player of them all. So she's got an interesting background. She's a 3-star recruit in ESPN 88 in the 2022 class. So she's 3 years into her career. She played D2 ball in Ohio, which is one from the very best, which is really, really tough. Those are big schools, guys. We're talking 4,000 people in Division II in Ohio, and it still goes to Division I from there, where she averaged 17 and 12, guys, her senior year, just an absolute monster. She chose Northern Kentucky over mid-majors, Wright State and Dayton, so she wasn't a high-profile recruit, but, man, she produced, right? So what did she do in 2025? Well, she was dominant in the paint, using her frame for high percentage shots, and she is 6'1", 190 pounds. So she's a big girl for women's basketball, obviously. 6'1" is really big. That's forward, sometimes center at some places. She shot 56.7%, which she's under the rim. This is an under the rim player. So what she does the best is she rebounds. She's an elite board crasher, especially in the offensive boards, guys. She averaged 7.1 rebounds per game in the Big Ten. You know what I mean? So this is a Wisconsin transfer. This isn't a Norfolk State transfer where you're trying to guess, or even to some extent Butler, where you're trying to figure out, like, is it going to translate? She's already translated. She's already done this. She's already been really good at it. And she's got a great second jump, by the way. If you watch her on tape, one of the things she does well is if she misses a shot or something, she gets back up quickly. That's a skill that not every coach tells people to work on, and some people just have it. Some people have that extra spring to get up the second jump, right? It's important in basketball. She's a very solid defender, and I like to say that she likes to leverage her size to clog the lanes because she's not a major shot blocker, but she disrupts with really good positioning. She's got limited range, like I said, not a three-point shooter. She's got better than average mobility, so she can run faster pace systems. Her passing needs some refinement, but she's perfect for what Kellogg needs in the front court. She's got that muscle. She complements, our up-tempo style on defense, especially. And when, rebounding is a part of defense. We say it every week on the show now. So that's what she's going to contribute is high effort, high motor, really good down low on, and look, she can score it a little bit. She averaged 10.6 points a game at Wisconsin in the Big Ten. So, and she does this by garbage points. They don't throw it down there to her a bunch, like not Kiera Wheeler. Like you watch Kiera Wheeler on tape, you're like, oh, wow, she's a very gifted low block player where she's got different bevy of moves. I would consider, the 10 points a game that Carter gets, McCray is a little bit more garbage pail, bringing your lunch pail. Like, I'm just going to outwork you for this. I'm going to get this loose rebound. I'm going to get this offensive rebound. That's kind of how she scores. So, and the 7 rebounds per game is a testament to that, which is really good in the women's game. So no 3-point percentage because she didn't have any attempts. Free throws are right at 65, which is, that's average. She had 5 double-doubles, y'all, which is just really good. 20 and 12 versus Penn State. So she's a blue-collar big, right? That's the best way when I summarized her, I thought, you know what? She fits right in West Virginia because she's a blue-collar big who addresses West Virginia's size issues because we were one of the shortest teams in the country last year, guys. So and look at what Kellogg's doing now. You got all these girls are over 6 feet tall, except one. Her efficiency inside and rebounding tenacity will anchor the paint, bring up the guards, for the fast break attack. Think of her as an engine for second chance points is what I have there and underlined a couple times. So pretty good. She's not, and I really think this is a really good class, y'all. Like he's done a really good job at this. And I've seen a few people argue that maybe this one was the best, the last one, in Logan Johnson from the Red Raiders of Texas Tech. She's also from that 22 recruiting class, was also underrated. These are all, look at this. Mark Kellogg, Logan Johnson, 3-star in 2022 class, under-recruited, right? Same thing with Kiera Wheeler, under-recruited. Nobody really wanted her in Minnesota, right, at all. Riley Makalowski. Riley Makalski. It's hard to say it. Makalski. 3-star, right? Under-recruited. She went to Butler. And then Carter McCray. She went to Northern Kentucky out of school. So, and these are all in that except for the one in that 19 to 22 high school class. So all 2022, basically. They were in high school from 19 to 22. So, that's an interesting footnote. He's trying to get older players here mixed with the 1 or 2 youthful players. I think that's the way to go. And so Logan Johnson, 3-star ranked number 92 in 2022, which is a top 100 player, but in women's it's a little different. It's not the same quality of player at 92 that it is in men's. It's just the way it is. There's less good women's players, like they really do have to develop a lot of them. So she was an all-district player, 14 and 4, and she's much better now, obviously. So she's a scorer who thrives in transition. She uses her quickness to beat defenders. She's got a mid-range pull-up that's developing. and she is not a three-point threat. Not at all. But she's capable of running point. She can play off the ball. She's got pretty good vision. She averaged right around 2 assists per game. Not a floor general, guys. She'll probably play off the ball. Man, is she a great defender, though. I mean, she is a really good defender. She uses her speed, guys. That's where she does it. She pressures guards, and at 5'10", she's big at guard. She can get caught in screens due to her frame being a little bit smaller. But I mean, I wouldn't say she's big, but she at 5'10", she's not short. I guess the best way I can say it. Scoring output was limited at Texas Tech at 5.4 points per game until this past year, this was this year. Okay, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong year. 5.4 points per game is what she averaged. 2 assists per game, 2 rebounds per game, 1 steal per game, 1 block per game. So she's a stat stuffer with some potential here. She's going to come in here and play really tough defense. So she's a high-energy guard who will thrive in West Virginia's pressure defense and transition game. And she's filling the void left by J.J. Quinterly as that elite defender, guys. She was in that race for one of the best defenders in the league. Her quickness pairs well with Mikulski's shooting, too, in my opinion, creating a cool backcourt maybe coming off the bench. So I think she's a sleeper with room to grow. These 4 address the weaknesses of the 24-25 class. Size, shooting, and some more defensive grit, which that wasn't ever lacking. McCray and Wheeler form a rugged front court, in my opinion, while Mikulski adds scoring and Johnson brings speed. They replaced the production of Quinterly, which was 17 points per game. Kaya Watson was 8 points a game, and others who left the portal. I think this transfer portal signals a shift to a bigger, more versatile lineup. The average height would be right around 6 feet for this year's team. So you might be able to expect a faster, more physical West Virginia squad aiming to climb the Big 12 standings. So I think the big word for this haul, guys, is potential. Potential. I think these guys add to the class. I think these guys make it better, and I'm excited about it. So congratulations to Coach Hodge and all of them. I know it's overdue. A lot of you guys had asked me to break this down. So I did exactly what, Raven and a few others had asked me to do. I spent about 3 hours today, maybe 4, really working hard, researching all these girls, doing my due diligence, not just flipping on the highlights and calling that tape, because I just don't believe in that. You guys know that. Like whenever it kills me when people repost highlights and say his tape is awesome. Well, that's because you only saw the highlights, right? You have to watch the actual games. I know not everybody has time for that, but if you do, it really makes a big difference because you're going to see some bad and you're going to remember some bad. If you watched Amani Hansberry, his highlights, you would probably never see the last game that he had where he scored 0 points, right, against Colorado. So these people have bad games. Let's go to break really quick. And on the other side, there's 3 more guys on the men's side, guys, that you need to watch out for because they would be game changers for West Virginia if we get any one of them. Stick around. All right, guys, this episode of Locked On West Virginia brought to you by Supply House. That's right. We like talking about Supply House around here because right now, guys, you can get the supplies you need from the site from the skilled trades. Whether you're plumbing, HVAC, or electrical, Supply House has the reliable way to order products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get the job done right. Plus, with a complete inventory over 200,000 parts from 400 top brands, you're going to find what you need. If you don't, it's your fault. It's delivered fast from coast to coast. If you need help with an order, well, Supply House offers expert support, industry-leading service, so you'll always talk to a real person. If you're a trade pro looking for an edge, their free Trade Master program offers exclusive perks like a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. Thousands of skilled professionals are already taking advantage. Now it's your turn. Join the Trade Master program today at supplyhouse.com/TM and start ordering plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with just a few clicks. Plus, guys, you can use promo code S-5-H, S-H-5 for 5% off your first order. Do it now. Do it today at supplyhouse.com. All right, guys. Hope you all enjoyed the breakdown. I worked really hard on that. I was trying to make you guys proud with these breakdowns. I put a lot of work into them. So, yeah, we'll see what happens here as we move along. We've got obviously by the way, the football team is making some offers. I saw they offered Fitzpatrick kid from Marshall. They offered another DB today that I'll have to go back in and see who it was. I think he was I want to say like an Illinois State transfer or something really low. But I also was told today that West Virginia is taking a look at the Penn State offensive lineman, poking around and seeing what that might cost. That is a little bit of breaking news here, but that was passed on to me today. I don't think West Virginia is going to get him because I think his offer is really big. I was told by somebody on the Penn State side that he almost came out with a do not contact tag. So that tells you exactly what's going on there. It's going to be to the highest bidder. And sure, could Rich Rod and them put themselves in a spot where they can do that? Yeah, I think they could, but I don't think they will ultimately. I think they'll go for somebody a little bit less expensive, but we'll see. It would be a great ad. It would replace Wyatt Milan pretty much. Very similar players. So not as good as Wyatt, but he only allowed 2 sacks, right? So that's really, really good. All right, guys. I've got a breakdown on the 3 players, just like I did my research on them. I did my research on these 2. A lot of them you've heard of. So, or I would assume you have 3 separate players here for West Virginia. Let's start with Jamel Jones, Cal State Bakersfield guard, the transfer portal, who is just an elite shooter, an elite scorer, I should say, not an elite shooter. He can shoot. So we're going to be looking at Jamel Jones, Miles Che, and Smurf Millender. Those are the 3 guys, y'all. So you may know who they are, and for all I know, they committed somewhere in the last hour. But as of now, I know West Virginia was looking hard at him. So Jamel Jones, 43% field goal percentage. Man, he was really good against Long Beach State with his percentage in the high, almost 60%. He was 6 of 11 from 3 against Central CSUN, however you pronounce them. I think it's Central. I don't know how they say their name. CSUN. It's one of them smaller schools. I'll have to look. I can't remember just from the initials. Somebody else might be able to help me. Central Connecticut State, maybe. I'm not sure. There's so many of them now, but he's 6'4", 200 pounds. He's a scoring machine, like I said. Man, his efficiency, it varies, but he takes really tough shots for them, and he was really asked to do a lot for them. So when you look at him, he can really score right around 17 points a game. I think he's scored as much as 18 points a game in his career. But overall, man, this is a guy that you really, really want on the West Virginia squad because I think that we don't have enough size as of now at the wing, and it's kind of something I'm worried about. But we'll see what happens here. But I'm a big fan. I think, I do have questions about him, and I've got them written down here. Something about Jones that I worry about. So he's slow. He really is kind of slow. I wonder how it would translate to the Big 12. So everybody's 6'4" at the Big 12 pretty much, right? So I don't know. I wasn't impressed with his athleticism. I was impressed with his craftiness, his ability to score, but I don't think he's a 15 points per game plus scoring guard in the Big 12 personally. I would take a chance on Kevin Overton before I would him. Just my opinion. He's had a 45-point game. So it's very, very good. He's an elite mid-range shooter. That's what he does the best, is he takes the pump fake, the one hard dribble inside the 3-point line and splashes it. And here's what I wrote down beside him. DeMar DeRozan. That's what he reminds me of, except not as athletic. he gets once he gets going, it's good. It's just, man, he just looks really slow at times, and that's not always a guarantee that somebody's going to be bad. But that's just my personal opinion on him. Smurf Millender is basically another. I mean, he is. He's another Honor Huff. That's what he is. He's the same player pretty much. Like, what a shooter. Like 5'11", too. And it's the thing, it worries me, this size, guys. 5'11", 180 pounds, 44% from the field, 43.4% from three. Whew. Craziness, man. 87 from the free throw line. He had 21 points versus Wichita State, but is he ever a sharpshooter? 15 points per game average last year. He had 20 versus Charlotte. He had a bunch of good games. He's got a great assists to turnover ratio, 2-1, four assists a game. I'm sorry, his his turnover to assist ratio is 2-1 in the bad way. My fault. It's a bad. So, his 3 rebounds per game, which is like, he's 5'11". But, man, you've also got Texas A&M, Georgia, Florida State looking at him. So I had to look at him again like, am I missing something on this guy? I think you can have one Honor Huff. But if you're going to bring 2 guys that are, let's just be honest, Honor Huff isn't 6'2" like he's listed. He's probably 6 feet tall, right? So can we afford 2 guys that size? I really don't know. I don't know. As I'm not a head coach, but it would worry me. And you're not going to convince me that a guy like that's going to come in and sit the bench or at best be a heavy contributor off the bench. I mean, he's going to start somewhere, I would imagine. Just like Wes Ennis, who is at NC State, by the way, today. I don't think there's any chance we get him now. Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure we aren't, because his agent, told you guys yesterday, his agent blocked me because I offered him an NIL deal. Like, of all the reasons to block somebody, I thought I was helping the situation. Obviously, I was trying to be sneaky and offer him some money to try to come on to try to see where things are, but it blew up in my face, obviously. But that told me right then and there that obviously West Virginia wasn't involved anymore, or that would have been a little bit on hold or something, right? So, and here's the thing too. He's at NC State with Will Wade. There's probably no chance he gets out of there. I've heard Will Wade wants to play him a shooting guard, and he's probably going to do that there. So, and he's a great player. I really wanted him. I think he'd have been great. He's 6'2". He was a great defender. He was a finalist for Defensive Player of the Year. I thought he actually won it, but somebody corrected me and said he was a finalist. Either way, that's really damn good. Let's talk about the last guy here. By the way, Smurf, I wouldn't be against getting him. I'm just worried about the size. Somebody I think we have a much better chance of getting, at least as things stand, Miles Che. That's CHE, UC Irvine shooting guard. Guard. He's a little taller, 6'2", 190. So that's something you can at least be okay with. He had 31 versus UC Davis. He's a 73% free throw shooter, 42.9 from 3. So there's a trend here, trying to get these elite shooters, guys. And he is an elite 3-point shooter, elite with a capital E. He's got high efficiency on catch and shoot or off the dribble. But if he had a weakness, it would be shooting off the dribble for sure. That's where he struggles, y'all. Usually in the mid-range, it's hard. If you've never played basketball, in my opinion, it was easier to pump fake, dribble, step back, and shoot a 3 than it was to pump fake, dribble, step forward, and shoot, personally. That was just me, though. I'm not any elite player, but I was okay. But I did make 58 threes in a row one time in practice. I don't know how good that is, but I did. Just FYI, it doesn't matter. Miles Che, man. So, he only had 61 3-point attempts. So, not exactly a high volume 3-point shooter. I was surprised to see that. But does he do a bunch of other stuff really good? He's a solid defender, not a lockdown defender at all. He had some turnover issues at times. Not a big rebounder, 2.5 rebounds per game. And so the big thing about him is he and Honor Huff had a little exchange on Instagram where I think Honor posted something underneath something, or maybe on X, and Miles Che put Country Roads and the eyes emoji, the two eyes beside it. So, I mean, that's a pretty strong indicator. And guys, they played together at Chattanooga. So there's history there. Be crazy to see them two come back together again. Be interesting to see. I'll be all for it just because he's such a great shooter. He can slash. He can get to the rim. He can definitely make shots at the rim. But I'm starting to wonder where our length is going to come from as far as, I mean, I get it. Laurent and Fields are going to play on the wing some. And certainly OBO is big. But we just have to wait and see because we have so many more pieces to add to this roster. Literally, there's zero. We have what? Do we even have a starting five yet? I don't even think we do. So that's really all I got for you guys. There's a huge storm coming here, and I've got everything charging in my house because I'm expecting the electric to possibly go out, and it's about to hit. So I better jump off here before that does. It would suck for that to happen while I was live. But thank you guys for joining in. By the way, I have to thank my Discord. You guys got me a microphone today, which I'll be ordering tomorrow at some point. One of the nicest microphones on the market, y'all. I texted my one of our directors, and I was asking him about it, and he said, "Yeah, you'll never buy another microphone because obviously I'm having to hold this one, right? It's silly." So there was 5 people in there that helped, I believe. I know Raven, Shaq, Dylan, and I don't know who else helped. I'll give everybody a proper shout out after we get this done. But I just want to thank you guys very much for doing that. It was really nice. You didn't have to do that. They offered to do it. But I just wanted to say thank you publicly because I think that's super nice of you guys. So to date, just so everybody's keeping track, Fester in the chat helped me get this $4,000 PC set up. Sean helped me get my laptop, which was like $2,000. And now these people are helping me get a microphone. Like, I continually get blessed by the West Virginia community. I really do. And I'm not ashamed to say that publicly because I didn't ask for any of it. I was blessed with it. So what that tells me is at least we have a connection with each other to some extent, right? And by the way, can we just talk about Fester buying me an insane computer setup again? Like, it's pretty crazy, man. Like, who does that? It's crazy, man. And then these people are buying me this microphone. This microphone costs a lot of money, guys, as much as a PS5. So, like, really, everybody tell them thank you. Give them W's in the chat. They did a great job helping me do that, and I'll be excited to get it. So I'll show you guys. So appreciate y'all for joining in. Hit that like button. Hit that share button as well. And also subscribe if you're new around here, guys. This is Locked On West Virginia, where I riff. Sometimes I just talk about life. It's all good. It's all about, appreciating the blessings you're given. And I feel really blessed to have you guys all in my life. It's like another part of my family. It really is. So I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Hopefully the storm doesn't knock the power out all day or anything. And that's really all I got, man. Kira Wheeler got the Brinks truck backed up, man. That's crazy. Wild stuff going on in the portal, guys. Hopefully they get some guardrails on it soon. But I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a great evening, a great week, and I'll see you then. I'm out.